Well, Harry Hagopian is a lawyer and consultant to the EU on Mideast affairs and joins us live now from our London studios. Harry Hagopian, we heard some pretty harsh words from the Turkish Prime Minister about the Syrian President, Bashar al-Assad. What's your assessment now of this dramatic shift in Turkey's position towards Syria? I mean, Turkey's always courted the Syrian President, but now has it lost patience with its neighbour, perhaps?
I think it is beginning to lose patience. Let's not forget that this is not the first time that the Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan has issued dire warnings to President Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian regime. However, I think that the mounting violence and the very visible signs of that mounting violence recently have made it pretty much necessary for the Turkish leadership to raise the tone a bit, not least because I believe that Turkey is pretty worried about the possibility of a civil war and increasing sectarian violence in the country, which would inevitably impact its own long border with Syria, as well as the small Alawite minority community in the country. So in one sense, I think it wants to make sure that it stanches this bleeding before it gets out of control. But I think it is also, as a major regional power, it's also playing power politics vis-à-vis Iran and vis-à-vis the Arab League and the other Arab countries.
And we saw the extraordinary sight, didn't we, of Syrian opposition members going to Moscow to get some kind of support, some kind of backing from the Russians. I mean, how significant is that move by the opposition, and are the Russians likely to change their position in any way?
Well, the Russians aren't changing their position yet at the moment, certainly not publicly. However, the fact that there have been meetings between the Syrian National Council, headed by Mr. Galyoun, and the Russian establishment and politicians means that there is an increasing awareness, even by those who are not necessarily supportive of any radical changes in the region, that something must be done, because frankly things are beginning to get out of control. And although we haven't yet crossed the political Rubicon, I believe that at the moment President Bashar al-Assad is very much on the ropes, and a lot depends on what happens in the next few days.
And in terms of the Arab League's position, we heard earlier that Syria now says it won't attend the League meeting in Rabat on Wednesday. Is that now then the last straw? I mean, was that the last chance for Syria to avoid sanctions by the Arab League?
Well, in a sense, I suppose it was, and the fact that Syria has decided not to attend the Arab League meeting in Rabat in Morocco would indicate to me that it has come to the conclusion that it is not going to be able to change the minds of all those people who are going to be in Morocco. So what we are seeing actually at the moment, and looking at it from a European perspective as well, is that there is a ramping up of pressure. You can see what the Arab League is doing. You can see what individual Arab countries, Kuwait, Jordan, the GCC, and others are doing. Then you can see what the European Union and the West is doing, as well as Turkey. So altogether, there's a realization at the moment that things have become very, very serious, and something must give, because this kind of bloodletting, no matter how detrimental it is to the region, is far more detrimental to Syria itself.
OK, Harry Hagopian, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.
My pleasure.